Welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Your host, Jill Hart, the Coach's Alchemist. Couldn't be more excited to have you join us today. On this podcast, we celebrate the champions of change, the up-and-coming life, health and transformational coaches who are fearlessly stepping forward to make a difference in the world. Get ready for inspiring stories, practical tips, and powerful moments that will motivate you to make a positive change in your life and those around you. We're happy to have you join us on this incredible journey as we dive into the world of life, health, and transformational coaches who are lighting up the path towards a better tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Today we are talking with Krista Gray Kirschman, and she is the head guru at refinedenergy.com. But she's really an interesting human being. She is an interior designer and has decided to go down the path of integrating that with Akashic Records journeys. It's the first time I've got that word right on there. and now she helps entrepreneurs align their energies. And I'm screwing this all up, I'm sure. So I'm just going to let Krista explain to us what exactly it is that she does and how it's all integrated. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I love talking to other spiritually minded individuals. So thank you so much. So basically, what I do is I help spiritually minded entrepreneurs align with their ideal success, whether that be through their surroundings and aligning their interior space, or whether that be through Akashic Records readings. So I actually have a successful six-figure home staging business, and that that has been a journey in itself. And after doing that for so many years and also having this passion for spirituality, I've realized that there is such a connection between your surroundings, your interior space, and the abundance that comes into your life. And so what I've started to do and what I've been just really called to do is make my spirituality a career and start going that direction. It's just been a gut feeling that I couldn't nudge. And in 2020, I started diving into all this energy. I guess I would call it energy work, and really studying spiritual modalities. And I was instantly drawn to the Akashic Records. I saw someone have a interview on Gaia, which I call spiritual Netflix, and I was instantly drawn to that woman. And so once I heard Akashic Records, I read books on it. I ended up being drawn to take a course on it, and through that, my psychic abilities really woke up. I realized that I'm able to see images in my mind's eye. I'm able to hear it through my thoughts voice messages from the higher realms, from what I call universal consciousness. And then I'm able to interpret that for my clients. As well as I have that gift of interior alignment and being able to really feel out spaces and the energy within spaces as well.
That's not something to be slight about. Being able to experience or to arrange spaces so that they give you a feeling when you enter them. I have a real estate background, so I totally get what you're doing, and I know what it feels like when you walk into a home that's staged in such a way as to generate a feeling when you walk in there. And the difference between going into an empty house that's been remodeled or painted at least and really clean, and then there's the homes that you go into where you just want to run away as fast as possible. And it's just because the energy that's existing in the things that are in the home just repel you. And there's like nothing you can do about it.
Well, there is something you can do about it.
Yeah, you're not going to buy that house. Okay. That's
No,
just like what
no.
it's going to be.
Well, one of the things I always say is everything has a consciousness and an energy to it, whether it's I can't ever say that word,
Inanimate.
inanimate object, or it's a living, breathing being, right? So everything in your space has an energy. Even a home within itself has an energy.
Mhm.
And my whole mentality, my whole methodology is being intentional about that and actually setting the intention. In this space, I want to feel this certain way. So when you walk into that space, you do feel that way. But a lot of people just don't think about it. And then they're just allowing the environment to affect them rather than taking initiative and kind of coercing how the energy feels in the space.
And making things, there's things you can do to like change the energy in your space. You want to talk about that a little
Yeah.
bit?
Yeah. So it's hard to explain something that comes so natural, but I will do my best. When I walk into a space, what I realize is that there has to be a good flow, and clutter is probably your worst enemy, because clutter or things that aren't touched often. I always say, like, if you haven't touched something in like months at all, it needs some attention. So clutter, it really is a stagnant energy. It actually makes the space feel heavier, a little slower moving. You're not as creative, fast, motivated, productive in those kind of spaces that are very cluttered, or when they haven't been even cleaned in a while, because there's no attention, there's no intention in those spaces. And so when I walk into space, first I notice that if the space is cluttered or dirty or whatnot. And then
Mhm.
also there's a flow of I don't know, like it's just how the furniture needs to be set up so that there's an easy walking flow. It feels inviting. You're not walking into the back of a sofa or the back of a chair. The art on the walls, it really is important, because either it's representing your aspirations, things that are very personal and dear to you. And so that is an important thing to pay attention to, what you're putting on your walls. Plants too. Plants have an energy and a life to them. So I always like to bring in plants into spaces. And then things that you are no longer resonant with, or you feel an obligation to keep them or have them out. Like maybe there's a vase from your in-laws that you actually don't like, but you feel an obligation to have it on the shelf because it was gifted to you.
Mhm.
I just think that being intentional about what's out and around you is the best way to make yourself feel like your ideal self in your space. And that ripples throughout your whole life. The home is where you want to focus on, because you spend so much time in your home, whether it's sleeping 8 hours at night, you're not conscious, but your body's still there absorbing
Mhm.
energies, or you're spending a lot of time in your living room, and you might just not even notice the things that are sitting there. Sometimes, that saying, like, you go nose blind. You go blind with certain things that are just always there. And so having that reset and a refresh in how you look at your environment, and really looking at everything and being like, okay, why do I have that there? How does that make me feel? And go through your whole house doing that. You will feel an instant shift once you do that, even that alone.
Okay, so I'm going to be real with you. That
Mhm.
sounds like a lot of work. As I look around my office that has a lot of stuff in it, I
Mhm.
didn't design this room for me to be in it all the time, but I have my husband's home all the time now, so I can't like spread out to the rest of the house that's
Mhm.
arranged differently. But I do find that I'm more creative in the living room than I am in my office. And I think you just have like given me such good pointers as to, I just need to go through this office and get rid of the clutter, because it was kind of a storage room for a long time, and I haven't taken the time to like make it my office again and not the storage room.
Yeah, and it's also I think that doing this is a version of self-love to yourself.
Oh, it's
So,
definitely a gift.
yeah, and you're doing it with the intention that in this office, like, how do you want to feel? You want to feel creative, motivated, successful, happy, light, bright. And when you are clearing out things or looking at things on your shelves, if you have books or little tchotchkes or whatever, just
Mhm.
think about it. When you're placing these items in certain places, you can hold something and say, okay, when I look at this or when I'm around this is going to make me feel prosperous and bring prosperity to me, and then place it on the shelf. And so when you're in the office, you see that little thing, you're gonna be like, prosperity, like it is like a trigger for your mind to instantly
Mhm.
think about that. It helps your cognition and what your thoughts path is when you're triggered by something that you intended, that when I look at this, it's going to make me feel this way. And just doing that with one item, at least, if not a couple, that can make you feel different things.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That everything does have its own energy. I mean, we have so many things in our life as I look around this office, and it's like, yep, lots of stuff in here.
Yeah, it's
And it
also
doesn't
a
all need to be in here, because it's all got, some of it's got like competing energy, and that travels into me. So
Mhm.
I definitely need to go through here. So I
Yeah.
gave you some homework earlier, and now I've got homework.
That's so funny. I use that word. I say, okay, like you have some homework. But something I also say to like my staging clients, because I stage vacant homes, like I have a warehouse full of furniture, but I also stage homes where the people are still living there while it's on the market. So it's all their stuff. And I go through the home and I blunt and honest, and I say what what's going to attract the buyers, how to make your house more marketable, etc. And sometimes it is, a lot of work, a lot to take on. Some people have been living in their homes for 20 years and they have a whole basement full of,
Junk.
stuff, or rooms that are just jam packed. And my advice is focus on one room at a time rather than being like, oh my God, I have to do my whole house. Just focus on like your office and just focus there. And then maybe move to like your living room or your bedroom, the places where you spend the most time. And for the people that I'm doing consultations for staging, I say the selling rooms, which are, the places that you spend the most time in.
The bedroom, the kitchen.
Yeah. Well, living room,
uh,
kitchen, main bedroom. Yeah.
yeah, and sometimes the bathroom.
Yeah.
If you only have one, it better be really great.
Yeah. Simple. Yes. Yeah.
And less is more. A lot of times we get like caught in the, I've got to have all this stuff, but the stuff is really an anchor. It's an anchor to your
Yeah.
energy. And people, when they go into your home, if they're trying to picture themselves in your home, it's really difficult when you've got all of these competing energies going on.
Yeah. I always do a more neutral scheme. I mean, I like, little pops of color here and there, but in my own home, I have it very neutral because I have enough going on. I'm running businesses and have employees and have a husband and social life and trying to stay sane. And when I come home, I want to have an oasis, a sanctuary. And to me, neutral colors help calm me and make me feel more serene, and more minimal accessories and things things that are on the surface are very intentional, rather than I'm just putting all this stuff out here because I think it's all pretty. But I think a lot of things are pretty, but I'm not going to go out and like buy every single thing that I think is pretty. But that's what I think, is that when it's neutral, soft, simple, then it also translates to your mind. Your mind's more clear minded and relaxed. However, if maybe you love color and you just kind of get energized and feel at home in color, then
Mhm.
bring that to your house. Everyone's a little different. To me, if I walked into a super colorful room, I'd probably like, get a little get a little hyper. But for, some people want that. Some people might feel super drained and want a little bit of uplifting color. So everyone's different, but everything really does affect you. Everything. Your whole surroundings. It's constantly affecting you, and um it, it's affecting your energy, whether you're intentional or aware of it or not.
And even color's a big deal. You talk about neutral colors, and it you can have different colors in different rooms, but you need to have the colors make you feel the way you want to feel in that room. And
Yeah,
bright
there's color
reds are great for
psychology.
like for dining rooms. There's often, bright red in there, but it it can make you feel jittery also.
Mhm.
And when you're talking about really bright colors, they need to be they need to be in an accent area, not like your whole house.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
and when it comes to selling your house, you're better off just painting that wall white.
Mhm,
Because
neutral. Yeah. Because it gives, again, there we're talking about it totally relates. What I realize is that all of my staging, which is what I call like my more like 3D job, it's
Mhm.
more normalized, and then my energetic coaching, spiritual career, there's so many intertwining philosophies, because when I'm walking into a house that is going on the market that needs to appeal to the most amount of buyers, right? That's a
Mhm.
bigger pool of people. I always suggest more neutral colors, because then anyone can picture themselves living there. It's a blank slate for them to add their own personal touch. But then your own home, it's the same thing. You're adding your own personal touch in your own home. But maybe if you go back to like when you bought it, obviously you felt a certain feeling when you walked in there because you chose to buy it. But if you made certain changes, that's a preference that you made that actually affects how you live and feel in your home. And it's more of a representation of you as a person, is what you put out around you, what you wear, what you're surrounded by. It can totally change your whole personality in the way that you show up in the world. If you want to up level and you feel more like you want to up level your career, your life, your income, sometimes if you start by either surrounding yourself in a more in a nice environment that your future self, that self that's making that much money, would live in, then that actually makes you feel like, oh, I am that person. Or you start
Mhm.
dressing that way, it makes you feel like you're embodying that version of yourself. There's so many connections between what's physical, and then how it translates to our mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so interesting. And your clothes have energy too. The
Hmm.
different
Hmm.
fabrics have different vibrations, and they can make you feel like really great, or they can make you feel really bad. And
Hmm.
it's the same body.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just what you're draping over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This has been a really interesting conversation about real estate and staging, but it really is all connected in the energy part of it. And so I know you do Akashic journeys, records journeys for people. What kind of people are you helping with that?
Yeah. I can help anyone. However, my passion is towards spiritual entrepreneurs, and because that's what I am. I kind of I'm like I'm giving the service that I wish I had when I was
Yeah.
feeling burnt out in my industry. And I just know that with entrepreneurs running a business, there's so much pressure and so much stuff comes up. So much emotional stuff comes up. Like your business is a mirror to yourself and how you're showing up. And I just find that there's also a lot of these inner healing inner healing journeys we need to go through, or limiting beliefs, inner child work, all of that can help you become a more successful entrepreneur, have a more successful business, because you're showing up differently from a more enlightened, healed perspective. Once you have the awareness through Akashic readings of how you're operating. So maybe you're operating from a belief that money's really hard to make. You have to work super hard to earn the money that you want to make. That's your limiting belief that you have. And so through a reading, I can ask the universal consciousness, where does that root with you in your soul? Where did that originate, that belief? And then sometimes I'll see like visions of your past life, or I'll get a message that it's rooted from, the certain situation that happened. And then we identify that. And then we can ask, okay, well, what can we do to move through it and move past it and shift how we're operating, how we're thinking? And then I'll get downloads and information for, homework. That's where I call it homework for you to do to make those positive steps and move through that limiting belief, so that you can operate from a mindset where money isn't hard to come by. You can easily receive money, and it doesn't have to be this striving thing. And so that's just one example of how it can relate to entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I went on an Akashic journey with another guest who's also a friend. And it
Love
was
that.
really a great experience. And she guided me rather than going on it herself.
Mhm.
So I can go back, and it's really close to a place where I go all the time, like every
Yeah.
night.
Yeah. I
So
love
it
that.
it opened the door to being able to ask and get answers to questions that I have about what's going on in my life. And just even if it's just me talking to me, which I know there are people out there that think that, it doesn't matter. It's taking the time to just be still enough to listen to yourself even.
Yes.
And really, that's what I think intuition and consciousness is all about. It's just being aligned with being, rather than trying to be busy and doing and staying on the hamster wheel. Every now and then we just have to pull ourselves off. And I think your whole discussion about your environment, it's so important, because that
Yeah.
without having an environment that's inviting to let you sit in peace and just listen or visualize or whatever you're going to do, you can't do it. You're just like
Yeah.
getting bombarded with all of this other information,
Yeah. You need an oasis.
stimulus.
And I always say that I believe that everyone is psychic at
Mhm.
some level, and that you don't have to seek answers from outside of yourself. You don't have to come to me to access your intuition and your inner guidance. But if you're not sure where to start, or you want a little bit more clarity along the way, that's when you get a coach, a mentor, someone to help you help yourself. If anyone is saying that you can't do this without me, then I don't believe that that's true and aligned. Everyone knows themselves better than anyone else, right? You know what is aligned with your soul, and what feels good for you and what you want more than anyone else. And so if you have that calling to look deeper and you're not sure how, then you can seek guidance and help and whatnot. But if anyone tries to take your power away and say that you can't do it on your own, I don't believe that. So I truly agree with you that if you just, quiet your mind, find a quiet place, an oasis in your home, in your, office, in your car, wherever, and just intend to get the messages, ask for them, and just sit as quiet as you can, or, just kind of um sometimes I get most messages when I'm driving, because I drive a lot for my business. And I get a lot of messages when I'm driving, because I'm in a well, I love driving. So I'm kind of like in a relaxed state. I'm cruising, and I get a lot of downloads that way. But again, I also get a lot of downloads when I'm like at home doing like a focused meditation. But I think some people also think that being psychic, or awake, whatever, is
Hmm.
something so put on a pedestal. It's so unobtainable, but everyone has it. Everyone can do it. It's not, no one's levitating yet. And everyone can tune into their own intuition and get those knowings. Your gut feelings, that's a psychic
That's,
ability in itself. If you follow
mhm.
it, you're following your psychic intuition. So yeah, I believe that everyone has this gift. It's just some people practice it and strengthen it, and then in turn it's stronger. And then some people ignore it and suppress it, and then it can cause anxiety or doubt.
Yeah, it's the whole listening to that still small voice. Everybody has it in their head. And a lot of times, instead of just letting whatever's going to come up, maybe write it down without having to think about it. Just let it happen. And you can get a lot of information that way. And,
Yeah.
you know, or maybe
Some
use
people
tarot
second
cards
guess it. Yeah.
and, and
Yes.
they're not magic. They're just pictures, but it allows your mind to have some place to start in terms of
Hmm.
trying to figure out an answer to a question.
Yeah.
So much of this stuff, magic is just science that hasn't been proven yet.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that. Yes. And I love what you said about the tarot cards or oracle cards or whatever you
Mhm.
you know you use. In my Akashic readings, I actually use oracle cards, and I'm like intuitively guided to pull certain ones at certain
Mhm.
times. And what I explain it as, and like why I do it, is it takes some things that are metaphysical, and maybe you're kind of doubting or whatever, and it gives you a physical thing that says, yes, this is aligned, what I'm hearing is aligned. And it helps me as a reader, like it kind of guides me,
Mhm.
and it helps the client feel that, what would you call it, like validation. It helps them feel that validation too. And so if you're a
Mhm.
new person to spirituality, and you're just kind of starting, or you want to strengthen your gifts and your intuition, starting with cards and playing with that is such a great way to strengthen your intuition, because it actually is physical validation of what you may be feeling or thinking, and it's a physical card that could align with that knowing that you have.
Yeah. And it's okay to make stuff up, you know,
Yeah,
and
everyone's
in
living their own truth. Yes.
and it can be whatever you want it to be, or whatever it speaks to you as being. It's, people marginalize imagination so much, but
Mhm.
everything starts in our imagination. If we don't imagine it, it will never become.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah,
And
everything. Yeah.
giving people permission to use your imagination, daydreaming is a good thing. Not like your teacher said, don't be daydreaming in here. Well, why not? It's the
Yeah.
best
Well,
place to
that's
daydream.
Yeah. I mean, that's the societal programming that we're all trying to break through, is
Mhm.
being told that it's wrong to be playful or imaginative or creative or different or weird or whatever. Being told that's wrong. Being told that you have to be in this box, you have to go on this path, you have to do it this way or it's wrong. There really is no quote unquote, right or wrong. It's just how you're perceiving things. It's how you're perceiving your reality, you're perceiving situations. And
Mhm.
that's different to each individual. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is. So what's the one thing, Krista, you want to leave the audience with today? This has been such a great conversation.
Oh, thank you. Um, it might seem kind of out of the blue. However, it's something that is so important to me, and something that I've kind of gone through, is working through the fear of being seen. So I came from I'm running a home staging business. No, none of my clients really know how spiritual I am, how into consciousness and all this metaphysical stuff I am. But I've started to show up publicly, putting it out there, being authentic, being myself without the fear of judgment. And well, there's a little fear, but still doing it anyways, doing it even if you're scared, because that's who you truly are, right? If that is a reflection of you. And I just want anyone that is feeling scared to put themselves out there, that's feeling scared of being authentic, or that's holding themselves back because they're scared of other people's opinions or judgment or criticism, to just do it anyways and be true to yourself, because this is your only lifetime in this timeline, in this body as you. So why waste it any longer holding yourself back from what you really want to do, what you want to be, what you want to achieve? And so, yeah, just doing it scared and just putting yourself out there and not being afraid of being seen, or at least working through that fear.
Somebody say that you just need to be the beacon so that the people who are supposed to find you can find you, and everybody else can crash on the rocks beneath you. She might not have said it that way, but that's how I see it.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you spending time with us today. And we can find you where?
I'm most active on my Instagram, which is my name, Krista Gray _Kirschman, KIRSCHMAN. And all my links are on there to my spirit business, where all my offers are, refinedenergy.life, and my staging business too. You can check out some of my designs, and it's all on my Instagram. So yeah, I would go there.
Perfect. And we'll put those links in the show notes below. Thanks again for joining us. It's been great.
Thanks for this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the You World Order Showcase podcast. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from our incredible life, health, and transformational coaches who are making a profound impact on the world. Remember, change begins with you, and you have the power to transform your life and the lives of others. If you want to take that next step and unlock your true potential, visit thecoachesalchemist.com, where you can find the 3 ways we can help you for free to spin your talent into gold with clarity, a system, and a plan. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an inspiring episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more people with our positive message. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and upcoming guest announcements. You can find us on Facebook at the You World Order, or simply visit thecoachesalchemist.com.